So we are in the last few verses of chapter 4. We are almost towards the end. So we had completed, I think, verse number 37, if I am right. So we will read 37. Yathai sammiddhognir भस्मसात् कुरुते अर्जुन ज्ञानाग्नि सर्वकर्माणि भस्मसात् कुरुते तथा. So in this verse Krishna was talking about how jnanam, the fire of knowledge, reduces every actions into ashes. Like a well-lit fire reduces wood to ashes, all our karmas, including papa and punya, both. Because, like we discussed, even punyam, if you burn all your papam also, punyam will make you come back and again go through samsara. Because once you exhaust your punyam, again you have to come back. So jnanam destroys all the actions, whether it is punya phalam or papa phalam, everything is destroyed, so that you are completely free from further births. So that is what we had discussed in verse number 37. Now let us go to verse number 38. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitra miha vidyate tatsvayam yoga samsiddhaha kale natmani vindati. Again here Krishna is glorifying jnanam again, once again. He says there is no better purifier than knowledge. Because the ultimate purifier is knowledge. And one who has attained preparedness to yoga, here specifically karma yoga, naturally gains the knowledge in the mind. So purification of the mind is the ultimate purification, because all other purifications have their own benefits. For example, they say if you take a dip in Ganga, you are purified. Yes, definitely, if you believe, again, when you take a dip in the Ganga, if you think, will this purify or not, then you may not get. But if you firmly believe, yes, if I take a dip in Ganga, without any doubt, it will purify me, it will happen, definitely, if there is not even an iota of doubt in our mind. But definitely some purification happens, and there are many other rituals for purification for various karmas that we do. If we have done any knowingly we have done some papams, there are prayaschitta karmas available which purify and release us from that papam. So everything has got its own benefit, but it's only limited. The only jnanam can give you the ultimate purification. So there is no other way other than to gain knowledge, which is the ultimate purifier. Now who can gain this knowledge? One who is a yoga. So to gain this knowledge, one should have a pure mind. So yoga samsiddha, that's the term he uses. The one, samsiddha is a cultured person. And yoga here, we can say karma yoga or ashtanga yoga or so many yogas, but you can say it is a religious life. One who follows a religious life, following all the methods that are prescribed in our scriptures of the Vedas, that person will have a pure mind which is ready for jnana. Because the lifestyle prescribed in the Vedas is meant to attain moksha. So the Vedas give you all the methods. There is no restriction on anything. One can lead a life the way they want. There is no restriction. But the best way to live is prescribed, and the best way to live will lead you to moksha. So it doesn't mean you should give up all the other things. You need not give up anything. You can enjoy all the other things also. There is no restriction on that. But ultimately, if you don't lead a life which will take you to moksha, you have wasted one life. Again, you have to come back and continue in the same manner, again going through all this sukha, dukkha, whatever connected with each life. So there is no other choice. So you need to, if you follow what is given in the way of life prescribed in the scriptures, definitely you will move towards that. You will be in the right path. So Veda is, like they say, Veda Mata, like mother, and the mother knows what is best for the child. So if you follow, the child follows what the mother says, definitely the child will not get into problem. Similarly, Vedas have prescribed a particular way of life which will ultimately lead you to moksha. It is up to you to follow that or not to follow that. Because as you know, there is karma kanda and jnana kanda. Karma kanda will give you ways and methods to achieve anything in life which you can enjoy. Wealth, family, progeny, any kind of comforts. So there are various rituals which can be performed to attain whatever we want. But those alone are not sufficient for us to gain moksha. So you enjoy that, at the same time you lead a life which will purify your mind basically. And a pure mind, when it gains the knowledge, you will attain the ultimate peace. So, and knowledge takes place only in the mind. There is nowhere else. Knowledge cannot take place in the body. Though we can say brain is a part of the body, so knowledge takes place in the brain. But brain is only the hardware. It's a place where you store this knowledge in this particular life. But your Sukshma Sharira, where the mind is, that is where, which goes along with them, which goes out when you leave this body, the brain becomes useless. But all the knowledge that you have gained goes along into the next body. So basically, knowledge can take place only in the mind. And the more you purify the mind, the more the knowledge will stay firm in the mind. So purification process is given in the Veda. That is what. So yoga. So one purification process is yoga, means leading a religious life. So Veda not only tells you what is your goal, but it also tells you how to reach it. Otherwise it is useless. If somebody says this is your goal, you find out how to reach it. It is not going to help, nor it will interest people. If somebody tells you, you go there, but I don't know how to go, but if you go there, you will get this. So unless you know how to go there, you will not get what is required. Similarly, how to attain that jnanam is given. So all the disciplines that are required are going to be talked about in the coming verses by Krishna, out of which yoga, he starts with yoga, which is a religious way of life, which makes a person cultured. So if you follow this, what you attain is physical, mental, emotional, moral, intellectual, all this we get health, intellectual health, moral health, physical health. So yoga, like the yoga that we practice, is also part of that. So that helps you to have a good physical health, a mental health. Then you do some puja, you do chanting, all this takes care of our emotional health. Our morals are taken care. So everything is available in the Vedas. So the more we follow this way of life as prescribed in the Vedas, it purifies. So that is why the ultimate purifier is jnanam. So when the mind is ready, jnanam will completely purify and you attain the ultimate goal. So this is the first sadhana that Krishna has prescribed in this verse. In the coming verses, he is going to talk about a few more sadhanas. So let us read verse number 39. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparah samyatendriyah jnanam labdva param shantim achirenadi gacchati. So here Krishna is going to talk about 3 more sadhanas. He says one who has faith, Shraddha, is committed to the knowledge, and one who has mastered his senses gains the knowledge. And having gained this knowledge, you attain absolute peace, Parama Shanti. There is nothing more to be attained. So this is what Krishna is talking about in this verse. So 3 types of sadhanas he is discussing. First one is called Shraddha. Shraddha, loosely translated in English, is faith. But faith is, there is no equivalent in English. So the one nearest in meaning is faith. And faith generally means you believe somebody completely without you don't question. But Shraddha means, and here we are talking about Shraddha is faith in the Vedas. So we accept Vedas as a 6th knowledge. We have 5 senses which give us 5 different types of knowledge. The 6th knowledge is Veda, which gives knowledge of the self. So once we accept Vedas without any, or you have full faith in the Vedas, you can say. But here again we have to come back. Faith doesn't mean blind faith. You are at liberty to question. Whatever is there in the Vedas, you are at liberty to question teacher until you are completely satisfied. So if we have a doubt, we don't question the Vedas. It is not that the Vedas are wrong. It is because our understanding is not proper. So we have to first clear our understanding to the point where there is no other doubt. So till you have doubts, you can clear. There is no rule that, or unlike other religions where faith means blind faith. You have to just follow what they say. You should not question. But here you are at liberty to question. But you start with the attitude that what it says is correct. Even when we go to a doctor also, if you believe that medicine is not going to work for you, it may not work. The doctor may prescribe the best medicine, but mentally if you say, no, this doctor is not good, I don't think this medicine works, it may not cure you. So, you require faith in everything, but if you want to have moksha, you want to attain that ultimate peace, then you have to have faith in Vedas, because only through knowledge you are going to get that, and the knowledge is there only in the Vedas. So first you should have Shraddha, ultimate faith. Because even if you have faith in God, you say what you believe is God. You can still be termed as a non-believer if you don't believe in the Vedas. And even if you don't go to temples or you don't believe in other forms of God, if you believe the Vedas, you are called as a believer. Because if you believe in the Vedas, you will understand what is God. And only when you understand what is God, you will have faith in that. So you cannot have faith in something which you don't know. So the first, again, one of the sadhanas is you should have Shraddha. The next one is called Tatpara, commitment. So once you have faith in Vedas, that knowledge, if you want to gain, you should have commitment. So if you believe that what Krishna says is right, and reading Bhagavad Gita or studying Bhagavad Gita is going to take me to that ultimate goal, then you should have commitment to that knowledge. You should be sincerely doing, listening, contemplating on that. It has to be a systematic approach. It is not that whenever we feel like we just listen or follow whatever is prescribed. Definitely it will have benefits. You cannot say that even just once in a while listening to the Bhagavad Gita or any of the Vedic this thing, you are going to get benefits. Definitely some benefits, but you will definitely not get moksha by random study or just for the change. Let us go to Bhagavad Gita class. If you are looking for that ultimate goal, there is no other this thing but to be committed. It should be a sincere and committed approach, and all the doubts that we gain, all the that come up during the when you listen, all those should be based on, the question should be based on, the more the questions are based on your understanding, whatever you have heard, the more you are likely to get the right answers. Because if we don't ask the right questions, we may not get the right answers. So, and right questions will come when you are committed. Because when you, even in college, if we see, there are some people who will ask questions for the sake of asking questions. But there will be some people who will ask the right questions because they have understood by regular study, and they have some doubts on whatever their understanding is. So they, to clarify those, they ask questions. So the more committed you are, the questions that you ask will be more oriented towards clearing your doubts. So commitment is the next. Commitment and sincerity, regularity, all these things are a must for us to move in the right direction. And the third is disciplining our senses or gaining control over our senses. So we should have the ability to focus. The more we are able to focus on the subject, the more our understanding is going to become better. So focus comes from disciplining our sense organs. For example, even if you have to sit and listen to the class, your body should be as still as possible. Because the more we move about, the mind will not be focused, because there will be pain. The focus will be more on your knees or your legs paining or your back aching or your neck aching. So all these things are, so we have to have the discipline to keep the body still. And the other sense organs also, the more we are able to discipline them, the more the mind will be focused, and a focused mind will be able to absorb the knowledge faster. So these three sadhanas are a must, because each one has its own benefits. So the more we focus on this, starting with Shraddha, then Tatpara, and then disciplining the sense organs. So all these three are a must for us to focus on the knowledge. And if you do all this, what do you get? You get the ultimate peace, permanent peace of mind. So it is not promising anything else. It is promising only a permanent peace of mind. It doesn't say you will go to heaven or you will get a better birth. Because if you say you will get a better birth, then you should, somebody may ask, how do you know there is rebirth? Prove to me there is rebirth. So again, it's only promises. Nobody can, of course, we have instances where rebirth has been seen, but those are only stray cases. You need not believe this thing, because there is no 100% proof. So if I say you will get a better birth, if Krishna says you will get a better birth, you will go to heaven, all these things are promises which cannot be verified, because we have not met anybody who has gone to heaven and come back and say, yes, I did all these things in life, so I was able to go to heaven, and this is what I did in heaven. And then why did you come back? There is also, if you are so this thing, why were you kicked out of heaven? Did you do some mischief in heaven that you were kicked back to this? So all these things are something which are not verifiable. So we want something which here and now, and that here and now is ultimate peace of mind. So that if you follow all these disciplines and you attain that jnanam, your mind will be completely pure. that purity of the mind and that peace of mind you can experience here and now. So this is what is guaranteed. But is there a time frame for this? There cannot be a time frame, because each one of us has our own baggage. How long? Because basically there are two things. Our actions are governed by two things: knowledge and our habits. Knowledge will clear part of the doubts, but habits have to be changed, which are not in tune with the required way of life. So we have our own ways of doing things. If they are in tune with the required way of life, no problem. But first we should accept that we should change. So that is the first. To change our habits, first we should accept that those habits require to be changed. And once you accept that, then you have to find the ways and means to change those habits. Some habits, even habits which are gained subsequently in our life, say smoking or drinking, which are not part of our past lives. Some of the habits we carry from our past lives, which we may not know. We are just driven by certain instincts which may have been part of our past lives. Each of us carries something which become part of our habits. So that is why even twins may not have the same kind of habits, because each one is driven by their past. But now in this life we add unwanted habits. Smoking and drinking are just two examples. There are so many other habits which are not good. So first we have to stop those, and then we have to address certain habits which we may not immediately get a solution, but we have to work on them. So it's over a period of time, because if you want to orient yourself to the religious way of life, certain habits, suppose you want to, somebody is in the habit of sleeping late. To have a disciplined life, you have to change that habit. You have to get up early. There are certain best times to do certain things, whether it is exercise or meditation, or you want to do some puja or chanting. So to get that discipline, suppose you are sleeping very late, you may not be able to do that. This is just an example. Like this, there are so many habits which require a little bit of effort from our each of us. We have to put in that effort. So first we have to accept that we need to change our habits, and then work religiously to change those habits into better ways of doing things. We can say we may do in a particular way, but there could be a better way. So it is not that my way is the highway, like people say. So you need to accept, yes, there is a better way, and then go about working on those habits which will take you to the right approach, the right way of life. And all this, the ultimate result is you will have a permanently peaceful mind. So this is the guarantee, but there is no time frame. Because how much effort you can put in, Krishna gives the guarantee. If you lead this kind of a life, you will gain that ultimate peace. But how long it will take, he cannot guarantee, because if you cannot do whatever you want and then have this also. You cannot have everything. So you have to change yourself, you have to change your habits if required, and also gain the knowledge. So a combination of this is required to get that ultimate peace of mind. It can happen in this birth if you put in that kind of effort, or it can happen in subsequent births, because nothing is going to go waste. If you put in that effort in this birth, because as of now you have this birth, so let us not waste our time, because if you look at it, we waste a lot of time doing things which don't have any meaning, which don't lead you anywhere. That day somebody had posted a name of a book, some 1,000 useless things. So if you read that book, you're going to, and that book runs to some 1,000 pages. So if you read that book, at the end of it, you might have spent a few hours or maybe a few days, and at the end of it, you will know what things are useless. So if we really understand what is useful and what is useless, do things which are useful, and there is nothing more useful than gaining knowledge of the self. If you believe that Krishna is saying the truth. If you don't believe in Bhagavad Gita, that is your choice. But if you believe Bhagavad Gita is going to give you certain benefits, then you also have to follow, not based on your convenience, but based on what is required, not based on what I feel is convenient. Because sometimes it may not be convenient, but you have to do things which are against your nature, but it will lead you to that ultimate peace. So guarantee is for the result, but the process is in your hand. He is also told what are the disciplines required to attain that. So goal is defined, the process also has been defined. It is up to you to follow that process and reach that goal. So this is what Krishna is trying to convey. More of it we will see in the coming.